Now, in our first story, distribution and rollout of vaccination exercise is beginning in parts of Accra and Kumasi today. This comes on the back of the procurement of 177,600 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine from the Africa Vaccine Acquisition Trust AVAT initiative for the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. The vaccines arrived at the Kotoka International Airport, KIA, on Saturday, August 7. The Deputy Minister for Health, Tina Mensah, led the delegation to receive the vaccines. We take you live to Kumasi to get a sense of how the exercise is picking up this morning. And my colleague, Ohiming Teria, is on this beat and joins us. Ohiming, which areas are benefiting from the new exercise?
Thank you, Daniel. In the Ashanti region, we are looking at least 4 districts. These districts are Kumasi, Metro, Oforikrum, Asokwa Municipal, and then Kwadaso Municipal. So these 4 districts will benefit from the rollout. Just yesterday, the Health Directorate started, educating the general public on how they can access the vaccination exercise, and they have started this education through flyers and also visiting the community with information advance, trying to disseminate information on how residents can access these centers or sites that have been earmarked for this particular rollout. Right. The Health Directorate has already indicated that persons who are above 18 years are eligible for this vaccine, except pregnant women. And they also say that those who received the AstraZeneca and then the Sputnik V vaccines are not eligible for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So these are some of the information that they are sending across. Right. But I must say that in all the areas that I've checked, none of these districts have started the exercise. The health officials in all the districts I've checked I've checked Kumasi Metro, I've checked from Asokwa, I've checked from Kwadaso, and the indication is that they are likely to delay the vaccination exercise. They are, in most cases, they are even yet to pick the vaccines from the regional health directorate. Some have also started training their personnel, the health personnel, who will be taking part in this exercise. So it's not likely to kickstart any moment from now, Daniel.
Right. Is there a targeted group for persons to come, of persons which are expected to take the vaccine, or like you said earlier, it's simply for those who are above 18?
Yes, it's simply for those who are above 18 and those who are yet to take the first shot. Don't forget, in the region, we've had some of the public benefiting from the AstraZeneca. Some have had the first shot or the first dose. But those people who are on AstraZeneca or the other vaccines are not qualified. They are not allowed to participate in this particular vaccine exercise. Right. But what we are told is that once you are above 18 and you live within these areas, whether you work in the Kumasi metropolitan area, Oforikrum Municipal, Asokwa, and then Kwadaso Municipal, then you are qualified. These are areas that are noted for the high COVID-19 numbers as far as the cases are concerned. In recent times, the Asokwa, Kumasi, and then the Oforikrum Municipal, these are the areas that have been driving the COVID-19 positive cases in the region. So these are the areas that will benefit from the vaccination exercise.
Ohiming, you mentioned that the Ghana Health Service has been putting out some publicity, encouraging people to get these vaccines. Is there any specific protocol to follow, or you simply walk into a hospital and request for the vaccine?
Sure, you need an ID card to qualify you for the exercise. Once you have a national ID card, that is, I think, the prerequisite requirement for anybody who wants to take part in this exercise. Your ID card is what would determine whether you are above 18 years and you qualify for this exercise. So the first thing to get is a national ID card.
Now, you mentioned that none of the districts you mentioned, which are expected to start the vaccination, has begun as of now. Is there a particular center that was designated ahead of this that we are looking out for? Or the fact is that no district director or no hospital is reporting it?
Sure, there are designated centers from Kwadaso, for instance. I'm told there are 14 centers that will take part in the exercise. In Kumasi Metro, there are also some centers, for instance, Menchia, and then they also have the KMA clinic as well, and 2 other centers. But the health officials tells me this is just for the beginning. They are likely to escalate the sites, the number of sites to say 20 tomorrow. But for the start for today, they are looking at 4 centers at least in each of these districts.
Right. I mean, finally, before we go, you mentioned earlier again that this exercise has not begun. Have the authorities given any form of explanation? And what is the reaction of the public to the receipt of the vaccines and to the delay in start of the rollout?
For the members of the general public, they anticipate that they'll have the opportunity to be vaccinated. And some of them have already queued in these areas, expecting that they take part in the exercise. But the queues are not long. But the information that the officials have been given to them is that they can go home and probably report later when they set up, because they are even yet, in most of the districts are yet to pick the vaccines from the regional headquarters. Right. And then the other worry is the fact that the health officials, they themselves are not too sure when exactly the exercise can kickstart. Because when I spoke to majority of them, the indication is that they are now training the personnel. So you can imagine how long the training will take, and then how long the setup will also take before they can administer the vaccines to those who need them. So we are likely to have a delayed start of the vaccination exercise in the region. Because they tell me the vaccines itself delayed from being transported from the national level to the regional level. So you can't blame them all. But once we know it's being implemented by Ghana Health Service, then one is likely to put the blame at the doorsteps of Ghana Health Service. Probably they could have delayed or say postponed the exercise to say tomorrow or probably Monday, where information would have, they have gotten themselves more prepared for this particular exercise. The general public, majority of them are also not aware because the publicity on this particular exercise is very, very, very low, except that those of us who are in the media, fraternity are aware and are also helping with the dissemination of the information to the public.
Terry, thank you very much for joining us from Kumasi there. In the Greater Accra region, we are told that a news conference will be held shortly to announce the official start of the vaccine rollout. Now, we are monitoring the channels of the Ghana Health Service, and we will take you there when that news conference begins. Away from that story, though, the Amansia West Police have arrested one suspect in the alleged beating to death of a 32-year-old minor at Mansui Samang in the Ashanti region. Ernest Kwabna Opoku was allegedly assaulted by his colleague minors, accused of stealing gold worth 150 Ghana cedis. The police say they are close to picking up other suspects in the case. Nana Ojima has been following their story.
Wife of the deceased, Ama Awandanga, sits in the midst of other tenants of the house in which she lived with her deceased husband, Ernest Kwabna Opoku. With their 2-month-old daughter on her lap, she mourns her deceased husband. According to eyewitnesses, the deceased is suspected to have taken gold valued at 150 cedis from the mining sites. A video in circulation shows many of the mine workers looking on as 2 people are physically assaulted. The 2 are stripped naked and beaten with flexible pipes. It is alleged the 2 were assaulted on the orders of the owner of Napoleon Community Mining, whose name is given as Aya. Wife of the deceased, Ama Awandaga, says her pleas for them to let her husband go didn't yield any positive results.
and a beg friend, say, a burumukun, into Miss Family back to one and a young Konamko head, your Muyemikuno, and I'm sorry, and I'm a far like a trouble.
I was told by my people that my husband was being lynched. My husband was beaten till his manhood was swollen. The manager was rather laughing at us and alleging that my husband has stolen his gold. My husband has never stolen gold. He is an honest man. Upon all his pleas, he was beaten to death.
Ernest Kwabna Opoku died at the St. Michael's Hospital at Agroyesum, while the other victim is receiving treatment at the hospital. Ernest is described as witty, hence nicknamed Lowen. Amma strongly refutes the claim her husband stole from the site. Family of the deceased and owner of mining site, Aya, were invited to assist investigations by the Central Police Station in Kumasi. One suspect, yet to be named, has been arrested. Brother of the deceased, Daniel Kwarten, is hopeful the family will be served justice. We do not entertain thievery in our family. We are very sad that people will use such an excuse to lynch him. He has worked with them for a long time. Why is he now stealing from them? We will leave everything in the hands of the police. For JoyNews, Nanaya Ochima, Kumasi.
Nanaya has joined us via Zoom. Nanaya, what more have we gathered?
So the police this morning are saying that they are relying on the video in circulation to help arrest some of the suspects in that video. Now, what we know is that one person has been picked up by the police and his name is given as Dapa. And through Dapa, we know that there's one other who was actively involved in the beating up of this gentleman whose name is given as Culture. So police is after Culture and other people who are seen in the video. Let's listen to the Regional Police PRO, ASP Gordon Ayanyo.
Man has begun investigation into a case of assault on two persons who were alleged to have stolen gold ore at the Napoleon mining site at Maswatre in the Amasia West district of the Ashanti region on Tuesday, 10th August 2021. The assault on these two alleged thieves subsequently led to the death of one by name Ernest Kwabna Opoku alias Lewen, whose body has since been deposited at the St. Martin's Catholic Hospital morgue at Agroyesum for preservation and autopsy, whilst effort is underway to locate the other victim whose name is given to police as Ernest. Meanwhile, as part of investigation, police has arrested one of the assailants named Kwame Dapa, aged 31. He is currently in custody assisting with investigation. One other person, only known as Culture, has also been named as one of the assailants and is currently on the run. The command has also intercepted the video footage on the assault of the two alleged thieves, which is trending on the various social media platforms. The same will be retained. The owner of the mining concession, Mr. Bismarck Okra alias Aya, was also invited to the command yesterday to assist with investigation and is cooperating in that regard. The command is advising all those involved in perpetrating that dastardly act to own up or come to the command in their own interest or be arrested to face the full rigors of the law, since the police will not condone any such distasteful act in the region. The command is appealing to the people of the area, especially those who witnessed the assault and have any information to share with the police, to call the following numbers: 18555 191 or 0299202240. Thank you.
Right, Nana, so tell me about the reaction of the general public in that part of the of town.
Many of the people that have been able to interact with so far are surprised about what happened, especially knowing the amount involved, just 150 cities, that will make people gather and commit such a crime. So a lot of people are angry. They are also surprised and shocked about the situation. They hope that the police are able to arrest a number of these people and help prosecute all of the people involved. And now the wife of the deceased is also very saddened, especially after she had just a 2-month-old baby with the gentleman, and a lot of the people in the area are also commiserating with this lady involved.
Now, Jima, thank you very much for joining us with those updates. Now, born and raised in the border town of Sampa, somewhere in the Bono region, a 10-year-old Ebenezer Opambo was excited about the prospect of visiting Accra for the first time, but he will be left on his own shortly after arriving with his mother, who is now mentally challenged. Little Ebenezer now roams the streets of Accra by day and joins other squatters to sleep at the underbridge of the Kwame Nkrumah interchange at night. As sanitation officers of the AMA stormed the area to clear illegal occupants Wednesday, what he knew to be home went away too. And Okranting has the rest of the story.
This was supposed to be another day for the Joy Clean Ghana campaign. As a team approached the underbridge of the Kwame Nkrumah interchange, it was clear the area served as more than just walkways. From a distance, several people, mainly squatters, were spotted sleeping on cardboard, piles of pavement bricks and dirty clothes. Not even the rocks planted as spikes could stop them from occupying the pavements. But why were they there?
Why they sleep here?
Oh, we be here where they sleep.
Here where they sleep every day?
Yeah.
Oh, we here in the bed. Why the bed here?
Oh, everybody they feel the can bed. We do some to the bed there.
Talk to me, you don't get house.
Oh, you know, we say I don't get house, but the other way we did our. Oh.
Did you hustle for here? Yeah. Where you from?
Me are from Adam. We sweep the wide and that way they live. We sweep the way they live.
What did they do for here? What did they do for here?
I carry Kaya.
They carry Kaya. Where you from?
I'm from Volta.
From Volta. When you come Accra?
2016.
2016. So since 2016, you did a rooftop.
Yeah.
Where you sleep?
I just sleep the cemetery side.
Sleep for the cemetery side? You don't fear ghosts?
No.
Why you not fear ghosts?
I didn't do any bad against nobody, so I didn't do
I don't get father and my mother in this earth. That one I live my life for the estate, and me I work the estate. I see this place if I sleep here.
Then as they were ordered to leave, I spotted 10-year-old Ebenezer Opambo emerge from among the squatters. His faded shirt on the tattered pair of trousers was definitely not for fashion, and parts of his black sandals were peeling off, just as every old and overused footwear will. This was difficult to miss. Why was he under the bridge on a Wednesday morning and not in school? I wondered.
My village is for the sampan of BA. So my mommy take me to come here. Here I don't go to school.
Your mommy brought you to Accra?
Yeah.
From BA? From
BA, yeah.
Okay, so where do you stay?
My mommy, me and my mommy, every time I come and stay there overhead.
I will later find out his mom is mentally challenged, a reason little Ebenezer has been left roaming Accra's perilous streets all by himself. The closest thing to a family Ebenezer knows in Accra is Rasta. The 27-year-old himself, also homeless, goes about hustling to be able to give Eben 1 Ghana cedi for food. But they could go days without any proper meal.
Oh, my name is Mama. Bakwese ablaboni ntina ebi o meja ne bebi o mbe no moje to one day pen me ho ne maame me so me da bon ti se de o ne maame so da bon ti sa ba me ho akwa no ye mobo itimi won me yi 1C2 stadium dey dey me ya mano ti akwa ne me je mo bebi anu ade no abe me.
Like Eben, there are hundreds of kids who are roaming the streets of Accra in search of warmth and support from a society that is constantly failing them. For now, though, that's all he has. For JoyNews, Manuel Cronting.
Joining us via Zoom is head of the Foster Care Services Unit of the Social Welfare Department, Samuel Anaglate. Thanks for joining us, sir. Has this story come to your attention, and what is your initial reaction? Mr. Anaglate, please unmute your microphone.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so your officer contacted me about the story of the 10-year-old boy. And he told me everything that he knew about the boy. And so we are working with your officer to rescue the boy. And then my understanding also is that the boy's mother has a mental disability. And so we are working with the social welfare officers at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital to rescue the mother as well and then give her some treatment. And we'll also go further to try as much as possible to get enough information from the boy and then see if we can find other family members to see if somebody will be willing to give the boy care. So, so far, that is the plan for the boy now.
Okay. So when are you planning on doing this rescue mission?
Yeah, so we're informed just this morning, and as I speak with you, our officers are on the way to circle where we can find the boy. We are doing this together with your reporter because he knows where the boy is and he knows where we can also get the boy's mother. And it's very important to state that if the boy's mother was in a good condition, I don't think we'll be having this discussion here. And so it's also a priority for us to rescue the mother as well, take her to the hospital and see how much we can get her treated of the mental disability. And for the boy, the plan immediately will be to get a shelter for him temporarily. Or if we're able to get a foster parent who is willing to accept him immediately, then we will not even take him to a residential care facility. Because as you may already know, we are shifting from residential care to a family-based care system. And so we have some foster parents who are waiting to receive children like this boy. So we'll try contacting these foster parents and see if we can place this boy with one of them, whilst we still continue with investigation to get the other family members. There could be a father somewhere waiting to take care of his son. So we are working towards that.
Okay, does it then mean that even if we don't find a foster, even if we find a foster parent for them and the mother gets well sometime in the future, there's a possibility of reuniting the boy with his mother?
Yes, that is the goal of foster care. You know, the goal of foster care is for the child to go back to the family. And so when a child gets into foster care, we, the social welfare officers, together with the parents of the child, that is if they are known, but if they are not known, we work together with any available information to see if we can trace the family. And if we trace the family, we'll find out why did the child leave the family. If it's something that we can solve, we try as much as possible to get it out of the way and then let the child grow up in his or her own family.
Right. In that case, Mr. Anaglate, what kind of standard of care would you guarantee if he ends up in a foster home, and also who would pay for the child's upkeep?
Foster care in Ghana is such that foster parents, anybody who applies to become a foster parent, will already know or will also be trained to know that when you apply to become a foster parent, you take care of the child with your own resources. And we also do supervision to ensure that this thing is achieved. And we also, to become a foster parent, you are given a 2-day training. So you know how to take care of these children, and you also understand that you use your own resources in caring for the child. That doesn't mean the department will just sit behind and watch you to take care of the child all by yourself. When there is a need for us to come in to assist, the department will come in to assist, whether to any means, whether financial, if it's very important to come in to assist. If we have to come in to assist, maybe the child is having some behavioral problems, we come in and give counseling and also continuous training. So we support. But I can assure you that so far so good. All the foster parents that are caring for children in the country, their children are receiving the best of care, because we know that children in foster care are no different from children living with their biological families. So if you come in to pick a child to care for the child, we expect that you give the child that same care as you are giving to your children. And we also do our investigations to be sure if that is going on well.
Thank you very much, Samia Naglate. He's head of foster care unit at the Department of Social Welfare. Crushed Young, that's our latest Hotline documentary, a sequel of the Crushed documentary detailing the effects of road accidents on the lives of Ghanaians. The latest focuses on children. Let's bring you an excerpt as it premieres in Kumasi on Monday, 16th August.
Moses Adey is one of them. On Friday, 19th March 2021, 13-year-old Moses stepped out to buy food at Trader Junction and has since not returned home. Moses has been on admission at the trauma and orthopedics ward of the Confluence Teaching Hospital for almost 6 months.
And I see them no mutraminai. No busan. No busan say I didn't see no mutraminai. No sikan a bomb in a chili tiny fast in a yam dumping. Tino me young shiny. Tino mutrai.
I am in Kumasi for further information, and I get the opportunity to meet the police officers who were first dispatched to the accident scene.
This is the exact spot police officers found Moses on the day he was knocked by that taxi. He came to buy food from this woman, Gary and beans. He had finished and he was about boarding a tricycle that brought him when the taxi knocked him. And I understand when the police came, they found a pool of blood right here. And I can see from where I am some parts of, I think, either the motorcycle or the taxi that knocked him.
Police in Trader is trying hard to understand how that taxi could veer off its lane without any obstruction and hit Moses. ASP Dorcas Mensah, the Trader District MTTD boss, however, says their investigations have slowed down.
The driver was billed and he was asked to be reporting himself. The investigator went with the surety to know where he's residing, and he went back to the hospital, took statement from the victim. Since he is minor, another statement too was taken from the mother. Since he is alive, he can tell us exactly what happened at the scene. So we are waiting. Either we can go to I don't know whether the doctors will allow it, but so far as he's now going for another surgery, I don't think it will be appropriate for us to move him from the hospital and send him to the scene. So we are waiting.
Moses has so far undergone 8 surgeries and has 2 more to do. But this pain is not what bothers him. The pain from the services he rendered his local church and school, which he may not be able to render again,
Joining us via Zoom is producer of Crushed, whose voice you just heard, Seth Kwame Boateng. Seth, why is the premiere happening in Kumasi?
Daniel, we know that Ashanti region is leading when it comes to road traffic accident this year, and it's looking very bad. That is why we are very this year, especially because all the victims, most of the victims are using the country after Ashanti. So we're there to bring a picture to the people for them to appreciate how serious it is, and they need to activate all the protections to make sure that we save the loved ones, not only in Ashanti, but in Ghana.
What should viewers expect on that day?
I think we have just watched Moses and how he's traveling after he was landed. We have others to share about how he was sent home from school. He was 6 years old. He was sent home from school to go and collect studies field and writing field, just 3 years. When he was going to school, he has no rest that the legs have been amputated because when he was crossing the road, he was knocked down. You can see his legs scattered on the road. Tell how serious it is and how we are hearing our young ones, our future leaders, how we are providing them of what they want to build. So that is the picture we want to paint to the world so that we all need to learn how to drive safe, ensure that we arrive on life without hurting anyone on the road.
Thank you very much, Seth Kwame Boateng. Let's move on to the Vice President of the Pediatric Society of Ghana, Dr. Hilda Boyd. The society is embarking on a road safety campaign for children. Dr. Boyd, many thanks for your time. Tell us more about your campaign and the rationale behind it.
We as a society, that's the Pediatric Society of Ghana, we are advocates for kids. We speak to issues affecting the well-being of our children too. And we know that in the past there have been a number of road safety campaigns. No one really highlights the children or the risk that the children face on the road. So we initiated this campaign so that we can throw some light on it and advocate for our children to be safer on our roads.
How does this documentary tie in with your campaign?
He is looking at the children, so children who have been crushed young, and we are also looking at children's safety on the roads and children having accidents on the road. So actually it is something that complements our work, and we look forward to working together with him to promote the safety of our children on the roads. Our branch at Kumasi, that's the Kumasi branch of the Pediatric Society of Ghana, will be at the premiere that will happen in Kumasi. And once he moves into Accra, we'll support him in Accra. We are working with the media in this campaign, so we're doing a lot of education in the various media houses, just so that a lot of people get to hear about it. There are many things that we ignore, but once we bring some of these issues to the fore, we believe that the general public, Ghanaians, people living in Ghana, will begin to just, stop and think about the safety of our children on the roads. So we are excited about his program, and we are happy to support in it.
Glad you're supporting, Doc. Now tell us, there are a number of diseases which affect children, which I'm sure as pediatricians you would come across. Why center on road accidents in particular? Why did we zero in on that subject?
We're doing a number of the others as well. In the past, we've looked at, and currently we're still looking at neonatal jaundice or newborn jaundice. We've looked at malaria, rabies, all those ones are being looked at. We zoomed in on the road safety of children because every minute about 4 children may die from road accidents. And in the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, we have about 20% of the admissions or annual admissions as a result of children who have had road traffic accidents. This is children with severe life-threatening injuries, and they have had the condition because of having accidents, or they have had severe injuries as a result of accidents. So the numbers, one may say that 20% of the admission of severe life-threatening injuries alone is not too much if it's just children, 20%, but even one is one too many if it is avoidable. And many of the accidents that we see involving children are things that are preventable. You see 4 children sitting with one man on an Okada going to school. You see children walking unaccompanied, young children walking unaccompanied to school, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds walking unaccompanied to school. And all these are at high risk of having road traffic accidents. So we're zeroing in or zooming in on this so that we bring it to light. And people, this is something that affects the public health of our children. If they are knocked down, they become ill. We won't wait for them to get knocked down and have severe injuries before we start speaking about it or before we start getting concerned about it. So really, this is aimed at helping to prevent or reduce the incidence of the child road accidents and also to help with the rehabilitation and put our efforts together with our stakeholders to improve the general health and well-being of children when it comes to road use.
It's very interesting, and we find it very important that you're taking part in this campaign. Thank you so much, Doc. But I just wanted to clarify that statistic that you put out. Did you mean 20% of all cases in the hospital happen to be children with life-threatening injuries, or is 20% of admissions at the pediatric unit?
Okay, so this is about 20% of people who are admitted with severe life-threatening injuries at the ICU at the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital,
Okay.
So for those like severe injuries from RTAs, critically ill, who are admitted at the ICU of the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital.
So that's basically
20% of them
1 out of every 5. That's basically one out of every 5.
1 out of 5, yes.
Thank you very, very much for joining us. You're live on JoyNews Desk. Now, we ended Tech Talk with cybercrime. Let's start off business with 43% of cyber attacks being aimed at businesses, but only 14% of these businesses prepared to defend themselves, according to Accenture 2020 report. Now, as Ghana pushes the digitization agenda, Chief Executive of Innova Care, C.K. Bruce, is urging businesses to be mindful of these threats.
And there's a massive threat to organizations all over the world, and Ghana is not excluded. Okay, a lot of Ghanaian companies have had ransomware attacks, but it hasn't been put into the public domain. But yes, there are a myriad of various cyber attacks which are hitting Ghanaian companies.
And what surprises me about the Accenture report I just told our audience about is that only 14% of businesses are prepared to defend themselves against such attacks. Why is that so? A lack of sensitization, or they just don't care?
It's funny, okay? And it seems as if organizations are waiting for regulation to push them to do it. I'm sure maybe you've, in the past of some of your programs, you've spoken about the Bank of Ghana directive, which was promulgated in 2018 for the banking industry. Okay.
Yeah.
So companies seem to wait for regulation, and that is the whole essence of this event, to try and drive home that there is some business value in doing this. So you don't need to wait for regulation. You need to put your house in order now.
Now, coordinator for the Ghana Startup Bill Technical Working Committee, Sharif Ghali, has said startups need support mechanism to cushion them until they start to make profit. A 2018 survey conducted by Venture Capital for Africa reveals 40% of startups in Ghana do not make profit. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more.
Presenting a scenario of Ghana's startup ecosystem, Mr. Ghali advocated proactive measures to improve on the situation. According to him, it is high time Ghana set up tailored interventions to meet the structural needs of startups and startup ecosystem.
All right, so the stakeholders we are looking at are the startups, the business incubation service provider, the consultants, the academia, and even the chiefs. And if you can see, we have a rep from the Regional House of Chiefs as well. So everybody that is concerned with the business development ecosystem, that's the people we are looking at. And to answer your question, the Startup Act is looking at setting that incentive framework that will support the creation and development of startups in Ghana.
He says this will provide a business environment conducive for entrepreneurship.
How can Ghanaian businesses that are starting get that legal support to be able to scale up and create jobs and wealth for Ghanaians? That's basically the idea of the Startup Act. Yes, we are hoping to finish this by September so we can pass it to the Ministry of Communication and Digitization. Communication and Digitization, so they can also take it to the Parliament, and Parliament will read it and consider passing it. So by September, the Technical Working Committee work should be done.
Stakeholders at the workshop discussed the Ghana Startup Bill, which will provide legal support for the introduction and promotion of startups for jobs and wealth when passed. Business Development Advisor at SMV Green Project, Frederick Akwa, is optimistic the bill, when passed into law, would assist startup entities to grow to create employment for the people.
It is unique in many sense. And of course, it's going to guide startups in general, but we also want to consider secular businesses. We also want to consider green businesses.
Let's wrap up business at this point and go straight into sports. Muftar Nabila Abdullahi has joined us in studio. Muftar, let's talk about the Boss TV game show.
I have a question for you.
Tell me.
What is the name of the venue Arsenal uses to play European football?
To play European football?
Yes.
Is it the same Emirates Stadium? I mean, all I know is the Emirates Stadium, bro.
Okay, so when Arsenal is going to play football on European night, the venue becomes the Arsenal Stadium and not Emirates anymore.
The same stadium.
The same stadium
is renamed the Arsenal
Stadium. And
it's like a trick question, bro.
So, if you think your knowledge of football is up there, the Boss TV game show serves you an opportunity of not just expressing your passion, but a plethora of opportunities are made available for you to win some laurels, ranging from television sets to gas cookers to refrigerators to the top prize, which is 250,000 Ghana cedis. And it's on Joy Prime. As viewers can see what is available on their screens at the moment. You just need to follow through the processes and just beat the boss, amass as many points as possible, and you'll be walking away with this huge prize of 250,000 Ghana cedis. That has the potential of changing your entire life. So if you had gotten that question, I probably would have given you 100,000 Ghana cedis.
100,000 Ghana cedis. You have to give me like a 10,000 for trying, for looking nice. What time is the show?
The show is always on Joy Prime at 9 p.m. On Saturdays. So if you want to be part of the show, just watch. The format for you to be part of the Boss Game Show is spelled clearly. You just need to pick your phone. You don't even need to spend much. At least 10 Ghana cedis. Even if you have the opportunity of being part of the selected group of contestants, already you've won a prize.
Okay.
Yes. So
you pick your phone.
Just pick your phone, and with 10 Ghana cedis, first is star 782 hash. Then there's 4192 hash. Then you follow the process, and then you're going to be part of it. And with the 10 Ghana cedis picked, if you are selected to be part of the 3 people who are coming to the studio, you've already won a prize.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Muftar Nabila Abdullahi. And I want to see you as our next guest on the Boss TV game show. That's how we end this one. Up next is JoyNews Interactive. I'll be back at midday. See you then.